I just want to say thank you, Julie, for welcoming us to Flinchbaugh's Orchard and Farm Market. And it is a magnificently beautiful day in an incredibly beautiful place. And there's all kinds of great opportunities for families and folks to come out and enjoy life on a York County farm.
Absolutely. And who would have thought that, like, 20 years ago, a farm would be a tourist attraction in some ways, but it is. Like today, it's a joy, it's a treat. People don't have these opportunities in their backyard anymore. So farms like us that are able to connect to their community and beyond, we're so grateful to be able to open up to do that. Does that make sense? But at the same time, it prevents a little nervousness, a little scare, because you're welcoming people to your property, and the liability that comes with that is always a little bit of a nervousness. So, insurance policies are great, but it's also encouraging to have the protection of some the current agritourism bill. So,
well, and it was an honor to be able to work with the agriculture community here in York County. Good friend and colleague, Representative Barb Gleim, who is a farmer herself, on getting legislation signed into law to provide you some additional protection when people come out to your farm. And horrible things can happen, but they're just simple little accidents.
Absolutely.
And you work really hard to make sure that everyone is safe and has a positive experience out here on your farm. But we know there's a lot of uncertainty when you bring folks who aren't farmers onto a farm.
Absolutely. We walked up the hill here, and it's a little damp this morning, and the grass is wet. What if we slipped and fell? And I can't take that wetness out of the ground, but there's a liability opportunity, and a very quick, simple accident, unrelated to even anything we're doing, but it's something that we concern ourselves with. So absolutely.
So how are you finding that legislation working for you? So it's the fall. There are hay bale mazes, there's beautiful apples, and we still have peaches available to pick, flowers to pick, pumpkins. The patches will be full very soon. And people are coming out to do those wonderful fall activities.
So I'll be honest, so when it went in place this summer, we didn't actually immediately put it into place because we didn't know that was coming. You're not really set up to make things happen instantly or anything like that. I'll be honest, I wasn't quite sure how we were going to implement it, and I'm still not quite completely sure how we're going to implement it for certain of our activities. Our pumpkin patch is a come at will, enter and pay in the market as you go. So we don't necessarily have someone stationed Monday through Thursday in the pumpkin patch to review the policy or any ticket that includes the verbiage that is the law stating. So we're still figuring that out. I mean, we do ticket sales on Fridays and Saturdays, a lot of online ticket sales. Fridays and Saturdays, people are getting that same ticket with the verbiage on it. Very easy for us to handle, as well as online ticket sales can have that. So we've been able to include that and put that into place. Ticket sales start for our corn maze this weekend, Labor Day weekend, so we're excited that you can kind of see the little dimples in the corn out there where the paths are for the corn maze. So we're able to implement it, but we're still also like, at the same time. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So, Monday through Thursday, and staffing shortages is what it is. I can't even just hire someone to suddenly put this into place. So we're actually going to be talking to our insurance company about it, because we want them to know we're doing our due diligence, because they also want to know that we're recognizing this agritourism law is now available. So we want to take every step we can, but we also want to be like, how do we cover this, because we're not able to quite incorporate it. Does that make sense?
You've been really active in the York County Farm Bureau and the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau. So talk about how the Farm Bureau works to provide assistance to farmers when these types of laws get put in place.
Sure. So the Pennsylvania Farm Bureau, to me, serves as that extension directly to you. Does that make sense? I can pick up the phone and call you, but they can help me get into place the points I want to make. They can help make sure we have meetings like this in person versus, setting up other appointments. You have a lot of places to be. It's much harder for an individual person. But Pennsylvania Farm Bureau is like, hey, we can be your extension. We can connect you immediately. We can make that happen. In addition, this summer and even the spring, as you guys have been working through putting this law into place, they provided details to us and saying, hey, now's a really good time. Lawmakers are looking for information. reach out to them and share your opinion. And so while I'm going about my daily job, and while it's super important I'm reaching out to you, I'm not necessarily knowing what you're doing on your desktop and needing my input at that time. So Pennsylvania Farm Bureau really helps me to make sure I'm lining up properly to get that conversation started.
And we appreciate that so much, because look, we don't know everything.
Right.
So we're asked to cast votes on a wide range of legislation impacting every aspect of Pennsylvania life. So knowing firsthand from the people who are in the trenches, who are farming, who are feeding our families and preserving a very important way of life here in York County is appreciated more than you can know.
Sure, well, great. Well, we're glad that you're willing to step foot on our farm to hear what we have to say.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And you're taking that back to you, not only to you making decisions, but your counterparts, because that's what really makes it word of mouth. That's your conversations and sharing is what we need to see happen anytime. So.
For certain. Do you want to take us on a quick walking
tour
it's up to you. Of the orchard?
So you're welcome to jump in the corn barn if you'd like.
That looks like a lot of fun.
This is our zinnia row. We actually have intentions next year to be planting 6 different types of rows of flowers for cut your own. And one of the things we always are seeking when we're choosing flowers is we want pollinators. So as you can see, there's tons of butterflies out here of any different size. We see monarchs, which is awesome. So we definitely want to make sure that we have something out there. So I love it because we see families out here, friends out here, Monday through Saturday. You know, it's not just a weekend thing. This is something that they take part and enjoy throughout the day or throughout the week. And we have customers that literally make it a weekly thing, that they come cut their bouquets of flowers. So, I mean, it might be a simple thing, but it's refreshing, it's joyful. We need a little joy in our lives, do we not?
Every day. And you know, the flower industry is really evolving.
Oh, it so is.
In the last couple of years.
Yes.
It used to be, you would go to the florist and it would be a flower that had been shipped from Holland or South and Central America. And now we're seeing a lot of people focusing on flowers that are locally sourced.
Senator, it's the same thing with food. We recognize that value of anything that we're growing, if we can get it closer to the consumer, why shouldn't we be growing it closer to the consumer? And we here in York, Pennsylvania are very close to a lot of consumers, so we have that opportunity, so yeah.
Love it, and the pollinators are so happy.
Yes, they are.
That little bee is in heaven right now.
Yes, I know, I love when the sunflower fields are actually farther up, but I love when we walk past the sunflower fields and we catch them, and those bees are just hanging yellow with pollen. Yeah. I mean, their legs are just thick with pollen, and I'm like, yes, this is what we're doing this for. So
it's great.
Yeah.
So good to see.
So here is a sunflower field. As you can see, they're coming. So while we've had great humidity and we've had great moisture and heat, we need the sun for these guys to really push. So we do a lot of things, and we just pray for the best because we can't control them. But we actually have one sunflower field in here. They bloom July 4th week. We have we mowed them off, we replanted, so we're double cropping this field with sunflowers. So here's our pick your own pumpkin patch.
Nice.
You can see they're actually already starting to turn orange, and then white, not just orange anymore. Our pumpkins, I think we grow like 22 varieties of pumpkins and gourds, plus 6 varieties of fall squashes. So yeah, so this will be a busy place. Hopefully, you know, we're preparing for it here shortly. This field actually opens the weekend of September 11th. So we will be opening this patch to the public then.
That's a nice sized pumpkin, perfect for a jack-o'-lantern.
I know, they're nice. They're beautiful this year.
These sunflowers, are they predominantly ornamental, or do you harvest them for their seeds?
So we can let them hang. We could harvest them for the seeds if we wanted to.
Okay.
We grow 4 different varieties of sunflowers. So the ones that are still hanging here, this is a black oil seed. So you can see these are for seeds for like bird seed.
Okay.
So they're not necessarily, these are not like the ones that you would see for public using.
Right.
But these would be black oil seeds. So these are perfect for bird seed. Now we had a couple other rows here that you can see we mowed down.
Right.
Those are true floral varieties.
Yes.
So those have a longer shelf life once cut.
Okay.
These guys are going to drop pollen on your counter. Those guys aren't. But these make the mass of the field. So the beauty of the field is to see the bulk. Does that make sense?
Sure.
But So we grow a bunch of different varieties just so that we can make sure that people can see.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah.
These were the ones that I think we grew in our backyard when I was a little kid.
Yeah, I'm sure. And the birds probably loved it. So because the floral varieties do not drop pollen, they actually don't produce a seed.
And how long has this farm been here and been in the family?
That's a good question. Thank you for asking, Senator. So my great-grandmother bought the farm here in 1950. They moved here 10 months later. My dad was just a year old. So since 1950, they farmed in the York County area, and they farmed in Lancaster County prior to that, but they ended up staying here, and our roots are pretty deep here now. Are pretty deep
That's
here.
wonderful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's always really exciting when you have a centennial or bicentennial farm.
Sure.
Celebration.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have the farm show again this year.
Yes, so it's happening. That's wonderful.
I am so looking forward.
Yes.
I really missed it.
Yes.
Was with all of my kids who are adults now.
Sure.
Who really lamented that they hadn't been to the farm show, and
it is like a rite of passage every year. You hit New Year's Day and then farm show. That's how you know the year's here.
And I have great pictures of them when they were just wee ones, with the animals on the rides, enjoying it.
So I have 2 sons and I have 2 nieces and 2 nephews, and you know, our dream is that they would have the same passion that we do to come back to the farm. But at the same time, we recognize, okay, if they don't, we know those people are out there, so we just want to make sure we're connecting with the next generation, whoever they are, whether they're, you know, a Flinchbaugh or a Keene, or we want to make sure we're connecting to make sure that there's someone, families interested in continuing on this trade. So
absolutely,
we depend on it here. So
absolutely, and it's so essential. We realize that with supply disruptions. During COVID with our food supply.
Even post, I mean, I don't know if we're really post, but even now, a lot of the agribusinesses are saying, hey, order now or you're not getting it next year. And that's 2022. We're already placing a lot of our orders for the next thing because we know there's shortages coming, so.
I feel fortunate that we were here and we could avail ourselves of a wide variety of wonderful fruits and vegetables, meats and cheeses. It's all here.
Yeah. For
so we're
those
very
that don't have
fortunate.
it right next to them, it's a little harder.
Corn maze.
We do a 7-acre maze. We try to do it so that as tough or as hard as you want to make it. So if you want, I'll let you go and you come see it about 2 hours.
Okay. So how do you do this? Do you plant it first and then cut it?
So,
or
you know, when you look at a cornfield, typically you plant it in rows.
Right.
We plant it in rows this way and this way. So it's a, you know, it's a crisscross. Think of a basket, okay?
Sure.
So that it's thicker. So when you look through this, it's kind of hard to see, even though there's a path in there. My brother Andrew used to just graph it out on a graph paper, and then he would go in and make 10-foot blocks, and he would hand cut it, like with a weed eater, like bless his heart. But about, I don't know, 8 years ago, we started working with a company. We set up a plan with them, you know, in February, March, what the design's gonna be, and then they come out when the corn's a certain height and they'll mow it down. We mow it 2 times additionally.
Okay, so is this corn that we can eat, or is
this is field corn.
Field corn, okay.
So this is, I might as well look at it here. So this is, I doubt it started, we plant this pretty late, but this is field corn. So you don't want to eat this.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, so I'll ask you this, what's this called?
Silk.
Yes. Do you know how many strands of silk there are?
I do not.
So if you counted every kernel, you count every silk, they'll be the same.
Really?
So the tassel, the pollen drops off the tassel, it lands on the silk, it pollinates the kernel. So if you ever have a corn cob that has like a missing cob in here, or missing kernel in here or something, that silk was damaged and the pollen wasn't able to pollinate it properly. So as much as this stuff's annoying when you're eating sweet corn, without this, we wouldn't have corn at all. Our theme this year is Be Kind. So with the honeybees, the focus. But yeah, last year we did joy. We did sunflowers for joy because I think we all needed a little joy last year.
Right.
And this year I feel like we all could just be a little kinder. So Be Kind is our focus this year. So
that sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
So let everyone know if they want to find out more about Flinchbaugh's Orchard and Farm Market, where can they find you?
Sure. So of course, check us out online at www.flinchbaughsorchard.com, but also find us on Facebook or Instagram. Flinchbaugh's Orchard is where you'll find us. And we're just here in Hellam, between Hellam and Wrightsville at 110 Ducktown Road. So please check us out. Be happy to welcome you to the farm and get you guys to experience the fun we have here.